Hey, hello all. This is actually Balaji here. I am currently playing the role of an enterprise agile coach, or rather an executive agile coach, and also a leadership agile mentor. So basically, in this particular recording, I actually thought to make a quick video on the program increment planning. Like as we know, in one of the framework called SAFe, the very important cadence to be followed is the program increment planning. So I just thought to make a video to actually illustrate my own practical experience in terms of the program increment planning. So first of all, this particular program increment planning is a program level meeting, as the name indicates, and basically it is a bigger container planning. Like when you do your iteration planning, it is for a particular team, right? Whereas if you are actually going for if you are actually going for a program increment planning, it is like a team of teams. So the point is, when I have multiple teams, or rather team of teams aligned to a single common objective at a program level, how am I going to establish the coordination, communication and the collaboration? So for that purpose, SAFe as a framework have actually given a particular planning meeting called a PI, program increment planning. So in my example, for example, when I was handling multiple teams, right, when I had 4 or 5 teams within a single program, what I used to do is that I used to have a collaboration with the scrum masters of the individual teams, and I also used to talk to the RTEs, who are the release train engineers at a art level. Like now, as we know, if you take a particular agile release train, it may contain multiple teams within it. So what is more paramount importance is how are we aligned in terms of the readiness of the PI. For example, if you have an upcoming PI, I always used to have a practice of encouraging my teams to do a feature backlog refinement. So once they actually review the features on a periodic basis, once they do the epic and the sub-epic level cleanup on a periodic basis, mapping it to the investment team, all those readiness are the precursor activities. Believe me, all those things is actually going to be as a input for you to do a program increment planning. So just to cut a long story short, if I have 5 teams within the program, one need to have clarity. Hey, what are my team level objectives? Okay, say for example, team 1, team 2, team 3, 4, 5. Be predominantly at a team level, one need to have a clarity. Hey, what are my team level objectives? And then in this particular program increment, which is actually typically a 8 to 12 weeks window, we need to have a clarity at a program level. How am I going to synthesize all these particular team level objectives, okay, so as to get a PI objective? So once you have clarity at a team level objective, and once you have clarity at a PI objective, once you have done enough justice at a feature backlog refinement. Okay, when I say feature backlog refinement, I am not actually talking about the team level product backlog. I am talking one level above. Okay, predominantly if you start visualizing your program layer, which is consisting of a feature, okay, independent of the tool used, whether you use Jira or version 1 or Rally, predominantly at a program layer, if you are taking features, one need to have clarity to ensure the definition of ready at a feature level. Now, having been said this, we do have a clarity on the features to be taken up for the next quarter. Because why am I using the word quarter is, approximately if I take 8 to 12 weeks of a program increment, typically many companies follow 10 weeks of PI. Some of the companies follow 8 weeks. Some of the companies follow 12 weeks. So approximately I can align to a predominantly I can align a PI time box to your quarterly priorities. So from that perspective, if I take a PI, I need to have a team level objective clarity, feature level decomposition, and also together with the functionality, one also need to look into the non-functional requirements, wherein my performance testing, my operational acceptance testing, which is called OAT, security testing, all these things are the building blocks of the non-functional requirements. Once you have a grip on the enablers attributed to the non-functional requirements, which is actually part of your architectural runway, and once you have clarity on the business priorities, quarterly priorities, the product roadmap, what are all the initiatives, and then if you get into the PI planning, then the PI planning will actually serve your purpose in a better manner. So if I want to put it in some other manner, please do your homework at your team levels and then get into the PI. Don't get into the PI and start exploring or understanding the features. Absolutely no. Please do your homework of understanding why am I doing this particular feature, what is the business priority behind this particular feature, does this feature need to be picked up at least on a high level, does this feature is actually part of my product road mapping. All these discussions can actually might as well happen outside the PI. And then if you get into the PI planning, then the PI planning will actually yield its purpose to a better manner. Now in the program increment of planning, one can actually present the team level objectives, and then we can have a discussion, pertaining to the dependencies. It could be the dependencies within the team, or it could be the dependencies among multiple teams within the same program. So for me to build this particular feature, what is the predecessor, what is the successor, from where am I going to get the inputs, what is the upstream, what is the downstream. And one more thing, at a program level, if you look into, we actually create a dependency management board followed by the ROAM board: resolved, owned, accepted, mitigated, risk. If you take a risk, one need to have a clarity. Is it part of the resolved, owned, accepted, mitigated? And if you take a dependency, if you take one feature and if you take one more feature, understand this particular dependency is among what type. For example, finish to start, start to finish, start to start, or actually finish to finish. If you have that much level of clarity, believe me, handling dependencies can be done in a much more proactive manner. Okay, and one more point to be considered is sometimes the dependencies, sometimes the dependencies could be from the vendor side or a supplier side. So as part of your program increment planning, you can also factor, hey, how proactively I can get the inferences from my vendors and suppliers. Okay, so at the end of the program increment planning, all the teams should have a clarity, what is my next 2 sprint objective. For example, if you take a team 1, within that, if I'm going for a 10 weeks sprint, let's say 4 sprint for my functionality centric things, and 1 sprint is for innovation and planning. For all the 5 teams, at least for the 2 sprint, we need to have clarity, hey, what does this particular team is actually going to do. And the remaining 3, 4, 5 could be more of a forecast, because the cone of uncertainty is very high, and the planning need to be done in a progressive, elaborative manner, in a rolling wave kind of a thing. Okay. So I think I have touched about the architectural runway. I have spoken on the feature backlog refinement, having clarity at a program layer. Okay, what are the PI objectives and how do you break it down into your team level objectives. And we have also touched about the dependencies. So you maintain a dependency management board. You can also have a risk board, and also you can maintain an impediment tracker and clearly calling out what are all the impediments, what is the aging of the impediments, who is going to work on which particular impediment, and what is the ETA. And then one more thing, by doing program planning, don't think that everyone is actually okay, all the work is actually going to go smooth, which is no. So you still need to continue with your team level ceremonies like your product backlog refinement, your sprint planning, your daily stand-up, sprint review, demo, retrospective. But then on top of the existing circle of your sprint level activities or your team level activities, you do have one more circle which is probably going to take care of your program level cadences, like product owners sync up, product manager sync up, ART sync up, feature backlog refinement, coaches sync up. You can still have your all your team level coaches across multiple projects or programs can come together and then have a sync up. What exactly the cadence you can actually set in, what is the periodicity, it is no purely driven by the context and the ecosystem. Okay, now at the end of the PI, now actually multiple teams together need to come and then need to plan for a system demo or a PI demo, because it is not enough if your individual code branches work, right? Because a program increment is an objective. So quite obvious, I need to go for a product level demo or a system demo or a PI demo, wherein the code branches of the multiple teams in my CI/CD pipeline, which is predominantly a Jenkins pipeline, will need to be integrated, and then the team need to do a system demo or a PI demo. And then you can do the PI level retrospective also. What are all the building blocks, and how do you need to do it? It has been given in the website of the SAFE. You can actually go through it. Okay, so irrespective of whether you follow Scrum or Kanban or SAFE, all these things, okay, let us assure that if you keep a watchful eye on the 5 things, okay, automatically the agility is actually going to sustain. Okay, in terms of defects, delays, dependencies, impediments, risk. Okay, let me just repeat it: defects, delays, dependencies, impediments, and risk. If you keep track of all these 5 things right from the beginning in a proactive manner, then you can do enough homework and then get into the program increment planning meeting so as to derive the value out of it. So in my particular Agile mentorship program, I actually teach the people how to do all these program increment planning in a hands-on manner. So if in case you think that I can add some value back to you, please feel free to connect back with me. Let's see what is that we can actually do it together. Okay, cheers, bye.